Okay, so let's start with our roadmap review. And first up, let's talk about the document styles editor. It's one of those features where on the face of it, you'll probably not use every day, but it could actually have a huge impact on your business.
Yeah. So I'll show you quickly how this works in productive. So let me share my screen here. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go over into our settings screen and go to our document templates. Once you're here, you'll notice that you have two parts of it. You have the styles at the top, and you have the templates here beneath. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to define my own style. This is like my own brand, the brand of my company. So you can see I have quite a few here. Let's choose orange style to take a look at it. So when I've opened up the style of mine, what I want to do is I want to set up different visual components to it, right? Like the font that we're using, page margins, background colors, general color scheme, stuff like that. And you can also, while you're in here, you can also check how this is used across the different types of documents that we'll be using it for. For example, your invoices, your proposals, budgets, and purchase orders. Once we're happy with what we've set up here, we'll save it and it will be saved for us here. The next step is quite simply to create our different templates. So as I already mentioned, we have budgets, purchase orders, invoices, and proposals. So if we go here and I'll open one of these proposals where I've already applied the orange style, we'll see what it looks like. So what my proposals will look like when I actually send them over to the client. Further, what I can do here in this template customization, in the table, for example, I can choose to not show all of the information on my proposals. Instead, I can choose to hide the unit and the quantity to get a more stripped down version of it. Again, once I'm happy here, I'll save it, go back, and once this proposal type template is ready, in one of my existing proposals that I have here, I can choose to export the proposal PDF. I can obtain it in PDF format, and then I can actually send it over to a client.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like the biggest use case here is sending a proposal to your client, sending like an offer, or perhaps when you are working on an ongoing project, sending a budget PDF.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to our next feature of 2025, and that is the scenario builder. Now, I'm pretty sure all of you are using multiple combinations of budget, cost, and team availability, and you would use the best possible combination to create a job or to send a proposal to your client.
Yeah. So the way that this works in Productive in the new scenario builder is, again, so as Stepan said, you're balancing between these different things to get to a job offer that will actually move forward in a way that's logical for your business. So what I have here, I have a deal here called Web Design for US, and let's say that the client actually asked to have this web design done for them in July. So what I've done here is I've created a scenario, and within this scenario, I want to do several things. So the first thing, I want to set up the services that I'm actually going to be selling to my client, right? So in this case, it's design and development. I want to specify the number of hours and the price per hour that we are talking about. In total, this will give me my total revenue, which I can then communicate to the client. However, I still, at this point in time, I don't know whether this setup is good for me. I don't know whether this is going to be profitable and whether it's going to be deliverable. So what I want to do here is I want to go over into my timeline view. And in here, I want to find the resources available to actually do this job for me. In my case, what I've done is I've chosen John Smith to do my development, and I've chosen myself to do the design. And as you can see here, I created the bookings in July because, again, the client asked for a July delivery. Once I have all of that sorted out, we'll see the names of these people under the services themselves, and their cost rate, their salaries will feed into the system, feed into the cost, telling me how much profit we're going to make and what's my margin. From here on, let's say that the client tells me that they have less budget or that they need to, for example, change the timeline. It's easy for me to adjust all of these in either one scenario as I have it currently, or I can even create multiple scenarios for the same job and then choose which one makes the most sense for me to do.
Yeah, and the thing with the scenario builder is that we have received so much great feedback from our customers, and they would say that they have seen Slack channels that contain screenshots from the scenario builder. Essentially, people would take a screenshot to justify why have they chosen a certain combination of services and hours, because now they actually have the proof that this is the best possible, or rather the most profitable combination that there is.
Yeah, and I think the reason why the scenario builder is proving so useful and successful with so many people is that it actually feeds into quite a few other existing parts of Productive.
Yeah.
So we've seen it work with deals here. It can also work with budgets. Of course, it feeds into the whole financial architecture of Productive, telling you profitability data and the like. And as we've seen here, it also feeds into the resourcing. So in the general utilization of our people, making sure that services are deliverable in time.
Yeah. And I'm happy that you mentioned resourcing, because that is actually our next topic, because I'm really pleased to announce Resourcing 2.0. Now, Resourcing 2.0 is not a new feature per se. It's more a complete rethink of how you would use resourcing in Productive and how you would interact with it. Now, this may be a controversial change for some of you, but I believe when you actually see how it works, you will see why this is such a huge step forward.
Yeah, I mean, any change is difficult. Using something for a long period of time and then having to change the way you do it is never easy. But yeah, we do believe that the changes made here will be beneficial to you in the long run. So what does this look like? So if we go over here into our resourcing screen, you'll see at first glance, it's fairly similar to what we had before. The main difference is that you can no longer infinitely scroll left and right. Instead, this has been replaced with a zoom level picker. So again, this is a new option that actually lets you focus in either on a very small time period, like let's say a week, or it lets you zoom out to the level of an entire year, like giving you a lot of information in one screen, which was not possible before. But yeah, the infinite zoom has been replaced with this zoom picker. And then what you can do in each of these pickers, you can move left and right using these buttons, moving you day by day or week by week in a different layout, or you can just do it on a higher scale, moving left and right more quickly. Now, the benefits of this are, first and foremost, the performance-wise. You will see that resourcing works a lot quicker, is much more responsive, especially when you have a lot of people displayed on one screen, a lot of bookings displayed on one screen. You'll see it just works quicker. The other benefit is that previously, when scrolling left and right, you would often run into situations where you would have like bookings popping in and out of existence because you zoomed in on a specific period in time. This is no longer possible. So right now, what you'll get this much smoother experience when scrolling into the future or into the past. With that said, one of the main feedbacks that we got when releasing the new resourcing has been that people generally miss this scrolling, at least to a certain extent, on certain views, which is why we've actually implemented it later. And currently in certain views, you can actually scroll left and right, as I'm doing right now.
Yeah, and I believe this is a type of feature that you would have to try with your own data, with your own project bookings, with your own absence types. And when you actually try it, you will see that it really fits better your way of resourcing people, and of course using time off categories. Okay, now our next topic is, I would say, on everyone's mind for the last year or so, and it's definitely AI. Now, we decided when we made the decision that we will bring AI to Productive, we said, okay, how can we make AI work for you rather than just be like a generic chatbot or just like a generic writing tool, right? So the decision then was made to implement it across the system, so across multiple features or multiple modules, if you will.
Yeah, so let's take a look at those one by one. So first things first, in order to turn this on, in order to turn AI on, you need to go into Productive AI and turn this little thingy on. Okay, so what will that give us? Well, first and foremost, let's take a look at your project management side of things. Especially if you're a project manager, but I'm sure everyone can relate. It often happens that when you have a certain deliverable, a certain task for a client, that people will like put in a ton of comments. It'll go through different iterations and whatnot, and you'll run into a situation where you have like 50 comments under a specific task, and you just need a quick update, a quick status check where you are with that task. In order to save you time here, what we've done is we've implemented a recap function, which can give you either a high-level outline or a more detailed recap. So if I go here and if I click on overview, hang on, I scrolled out. After a few seconds of loading, when Productive has processed the data, it will actually give us the overview for this task, telling us, hey, this is what has been done and this is what needs to be done. On a similar note, in the tasks, but also in docs, as we'll see in a second, what you can do here is, like, if you're not completely sure of your writing style, you can select a piece of text here, click on AI, and then choose any of these options to improve your writing in any sort of way or to make it more relevant to what you are doing at a specific point in time. And as I mentioned, this applies both here, but it also applies in greater batches of text, like in docs, where you can once again choose a piece of text and change it in any way that you see fit. The next point is not related to tasks or docs, but it is related to finances. So what you can do in Productive, you can create expenses. Now, previously, whenever you were creating an expense, you had to type all of this in manually based on like a receipt or something that you got. With AI, what you can do as of recently, so you can choose this option up here, upload to autofill, click on it, and choose like a JPEG, a PDF, or something that you have, and this will pre-fill all of the information into the system for you. Double check it to make sure everything is all right, and create the expense. Saves you quite a bit of time. And lastly, the biggest and most powerful use of AI that we have in Productive at the moment is Productive AI reporting. So if we go over into reporting, you can, in addition to creating a report from a template or creating it from scratch, you can now create a report using AI. So if I click on AI report here, and let's say that I want to create a report that tells me how much money we made last month grouped by company. So I'll say recognized revenue last month grouped by company. Once I'm ready, I'll hit generate report. I'll give Productive a few seconds to make all the magic happen in the background. And voila, I have my report ready for me. Now, of course, this is not necessarily maybe what the be-all, end-all report that I'm looking to get. I maybe want to, only a table, not a chart. Maybe I want to remove a certain grouping option, stuff like that. But it gives me the foundation upon which I can do the other tweaks.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like this is the big breakthrough here because you don't really have to know anything about the way that your data is structured. Just describe what you want to see, and then AI will create the report for you. One more thing about describing, perhaps we can also go over AI filters because in a way you would also describe what you are looking for, and then Productive AI will find it for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if I go back here to, let's say, to one of my projects. So let's say that I'm looking at this project and I have a ton of tasks here, and I want to just get my overdue task. Now, what I can do, of course, is I can go here and say, add a filter, manually add 2, 3, 4 filters, however many I need. But what I can also use AI in this end, so I can just say, give me my overdue tasks. I'll run it, and Productive will translate this into a set of filters for me, thus giving me only the tasks that I'm actually looking for.
Yeah. And again, I would say the benefit here is you could ask AI as if you would ask your teammate, like, what are the tasks that I'm lagging on currently?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So those were the features from the last 6 months. And now let's talk about future features. And the first one up is Polaris. Now, Polaris is basically business intelligence made by Productive. And I believe some of you may ask, well, okay, we have all this reporting in Productive that's quite powerful. Why would you need a business intelligence tool? I mean, what does Polaris cover that regular reports in Productive do not cover?
Yeah. So productive reporting is one of its most powerful and most flexible features, right? So we hear a lot of praise for it because people are able to report on their data in in a multitude of ways, so to speak. With that said, even though productive reporting is able to cover 99% of your cases, there is still that 1% that's left over. Report requests that simply do not fit into productive reporting architecture, flexible as it is. And at some point, we just decided, okay, let's cover the remaining 1% as well. So the way that this works, again, so we're in reports where we finished off last time. And here to the left, you'll see Open Polaris, which when clicked, will open something that looks like this for you. So what this will do is, let me just actually reset this. So what this will do for us is I can go in here and type an SQL query directly from scratch. Unfortunately, I'm not all that proficient with SQL, so I can't really do that on my end. Instead, what I can do is I can ask AI to write the query for me. So I'll just paste it in here. So I'm asking the system to give me the cost of all of my time entries for last month and all of my time of bookings for last month, and to add them together. Once I'm ready, I'll hit this button here and give Productive again a few seconds just to translate my natural language prompt into an SQL query. Once it's done, you'll see the SQL query filled out below here. And there we go. Now, I don't understand this, but I'm told that it's SQL. And at this point in time, what I can do is I can tell it to run, and then it will actually give me the output that I was looking for. It will tell me how much time in terms of money did I do last month and how much time off. And then it will also combine the two. This is something that you can't do in Productive by default, but you can do in Polaris.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing here is that if you are proficient with SQL, perfect. Like you can write your own query and you will get the data that you need. And of course, if you're not, like the two of us, you can also use natural language prompts and then AI will generate for you. And of course, you can always download this report in CSV and you can then upload it to, let's say, Google Looker Studio or perhaps Microsoft Power BI or just a good old plain Excel sheet. So that's Polaris. It's currently in alpha, which means that it's in active development, but we can allow you early access. All you have to do is just reach out to us, give us a day or two just so we can migrate your data, and then you could try it for yourself and possibly influence its future development and future look and feel.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, today, in the actual announcement for this event, we said that we will launch a new feature during this event. And I'm pleased to say that this feature is called Forms. Now, with Forms, it is exactly what you see on the box. So basically, think of it as Google Forms built into Productive. Again, you are probably asking yourself, like, why do I need, a separate form software because I already use Google Forms? Well, I would say, first of all, it's built in, it's free. And second of all, you can make it automatic, right?
Yeah, so the way that it works in Productive in general is that within an individual project, for example, the way that I have it here in my project called, which project was it? New website design. You'll see I have a Forms tab up here, and in here I already have created a form. So when I'm creating a form, this is very familiar to anyone who's ever worked with forms. I can pull in different types of fields like text, date, whatever. In my case, what I've gone ahead and done, I've created like a form for my team to submit design requests. So I want them to give the name to the thing that needs to be done, a description, requested due date, the tech that we should use for this task, and lastly, any files that are relevant to this query. Once I've set the form up, there's two ways for me to go. One is to publish it, to take this link, copy it, and send it out to someone. When they open the link, they'll be greeted by this. So they'll see this form in action and they can start filling it out and creating responses. However, there's one other thing that I want to do here. I want to create an automation called the design tasks in this case. And for me, what I want to do here is I want this I want it so that whenever a response is submitted to this form, for a task to be created. And again, I can be very flexible here. I can set up what the task will be called. In my case, it's task name. And then I can set up all of the information that I've received via the form into the task in any different way that I see fit.
Yeah, and the cool thing here is also that you can actually send a form to a person that is not in your productive account. So they really don't have to be a productive user. So perhaps if you are, speaking to a client, you can just send them the link, they will fill out the form, and the data will be fed back to your productive account. And possibly, as you have seen here, it could create a task or anything else that you want to do with it.
Yeah, I think that forms, we generally see them being used in 3 different ways. One, as we've seen here with my very simple example, is quite simply to have like some sort of task standardization. If your designers are getting irritated by the fact that people are submitting incomplete tasks to them, this is the solution, because you can specify which information you need for a person to submit to your designers. That's one approach. Another one is things like equipment requisition forms, where you want the task to land with someone who needs to process it further. So yeah, equipment requisition forms are a good fit. And the third option is something that Stepan mentioned. It's client-facing work, right? So in your what you can do is you can send a form to a client, they can fill it out, and it creates a task for you in productive, letting you action it further.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, forms are available right now, so I would encourage you to go to a project of your choice and hit the tab Forms, and then just create a form that you see fit. Okay, that's all the time that we had for today, and thank you so much for watching, and have a pleasant rest of the day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.